In the rich tapestry of the Beverly Hillbillies, few storylines capture the glorious absurdity of cultural collision, quite like Granny Clampett's determined campaign to cure Mrs. Drysdale with her legendary sober-up mash. This sequence, beautifully preserved in the provided composite script, stands as a pinnacle of the show's comedic brilliance, blending physical farce, verbal wit, and profound thematic depth into one unforgettable narrative thread. Here, the ancient folk wisdom of the Ozark Mountains marches headlong into the fragile, neurotic world of Beverly Hills high society with results that are as hilarious as they are heartwarming. Granny Clampett emerges in this storyline as one of television's most magnificent comic creations. Small in stature but enormous in spirit, she embodies an unshakable confidence in traditional mountain medicine. When she learns that her wealthy neighbor Mrs. Drysdale appears to suffer from the evil of drink, Granny does not hesitate. She immediately begins gathering ingredients for her powerful remedy, a concoction requiring pecan root, red weed, sour dock, skunk oil, chimney soot, spider webs, horse mint, snake wort, pepper leaves, chicken gizzards, coal oil, slippery, elm ooze, turpentine, and several secret components known only to her. The sheer length and colorful nature of this ingredient list alone produces laughter, showcasing the writer's gift for turning mundane exposition into comedic poetry. What makes Granny's efforts so endearing is the complete sincerity and generosity behind them. The Clampetts have barely settled into their mansion when they learn of their neighbor's supposed affliction. Yet they immediately view helping her as both a moral duty and a neighborly obligation. This reflects one of the show's core values: true wealth lies not in money but in community and compassion. While the Drysdales fret over social appearances and nervous conditions, the Clampetts roll up their sleeves and get to work. Granny's mash is not merely medicine, it is an expression of hillbilly love offered freely to someone they barely know. The famous toad test sequence provides some of the episode's biggest laughs. Granny explains that she uses a live toad to gauge the mash's potency. The farther the toad jumps after tasting it, the stronger the brew. She proudly recounts how her last batch sent a toad soaring over Elverney Bradshaw's clothesline, setting a new record. When Jethro innocently asks if it was truly a toad, Granny delivers one of the script's most memorable punchlines: it was actually Elverney's husband Homer, who apparently needed sobering up himself. This blend of tall tale humor and deadpan delivery is pure Beverly Hillbillies, turning a simple explanation into a riotous glimpse into mountain life. The attempt to deliver the mash to the Drysdale residents generates a cascade of classic comedic misunderstandings. Granny and Ellie Mae arrive at the grand home only to be met by the haughty butler Ravenswood, who informs them that Mrs. Drysdale cannot be disturbed. The culture clash here is exquisite. Granny, viewing the butler as family help, assumes he must be a relative helping with the poor woman's condition. When Ravenswood haughtily declares, "I am a butler," Granny responds with genuine admiration that his family is not ashamed to pitch in during hard times. The linguistic and social gap between mountain practicality and Beverly Hills formality has rarely been funnier. Mrs. Drysdale herself becomes a perfect foil for Granny's robust approach to life. Portrayed as a hypochondriac of epic proportions, she faints dramatically after the fox fur incident, requires constant attention, and later experiences spectacular hallucinations involving a witch flying past the window and a goat with a chicken riding on its back in the bathtub. These moments brilliantly satirize the idle rich. While Granny offers real if unconventional solutions, Mrs. Drysdale wallows in manufactured drama and nervous fragility. The contrast between Granny's tough practical mountain resilience and Mrs. Drysdale's delicate sensibilities provides endless comedic opportunities. The script reaches comedic heights as the Clampetts persist in their mission of mercy. When direct delivery fails, they devise increasingly creative methods to get the mash and fresh goat's milk to the patient. Jed's willingness to climb a tree, Jethro being recruited to distract the butler, and Ellie Mae leading a nanny goat upstairs with a chicken on its back create visual comedy that remains vividly funny even in transcript form. These scenes demonstrate the family's resourcefulness and refusal to abandon a neighbor in need no matter how many obstacles stand in their way. One of the most touching aspects of this storyline is how the Clampetts consistently interpret the Drysdales' strange behavior in the most positive possible light. When Mr. Drysdale hangs speechless on the fence of the makeshift stock pen making gurgling noises, Jed and Granny assume he is overcome with joy and gratitude for their help. This generous reading of events reflects the family's fundamental optimism and kindness. They see the best in people. Even when those people are having quiet nervous breakdowns at the sight of livestock on their tennis court and hillbilly remedies in their mansion. The arrival of fresh goat's milk as a follow-up treatment becomes another running gag that ties the storyline together beautifully. Granny insists that the mash smart's considerable, and must be followed by regular doses of goat's milk to stop the burning. This attention to detail in her folk medicine showcases her expertise in her own world while simultaneously highlighting how alien her methods seem to Beverly Hills sensibilities. The image of Ellie Mae, dutifully carrying milk to the neighbors only to be rebuffed by the butler's demand for sterilization produces both laughter and a gentle critique of class snobbery. Throughout this sequence, the script masterfully balances broad physical comedy with sharper social observation. Ravenswood's repeated refusals and his horror at the Clampetts' direct hands-on approach to helping others serve as a subtle commentary on emotional distance in wealthy society. While the Clampetts charge in with remedies, wrestling holds, and livestock, the butler maintains rigid social barriers, even when a neighbor is supposedly suffering. The show gently suggests that true civilization might have more to do with compassion than with proper etiquette or sterilized silverware. Granny's character gains tremendous depth in these scenes. Far from being merely a source of comic relief, she emerges as a woman of strong principles, deep knowledge, and unwavering loyalty to her family and community. Her feisty exchanges with the butler, her tender instructions to Ellie Mae, and her determination to help Mrs. Drysdale despite multiple rejections reveal a fully realized personality. Irene Ryan's performance in the original series brought this character to vivid life. But even in raw transcript form, Granny's voice rings clear and unforgettable. The resolution of the sober-up MASH storyline, with Mrs. Drysdale happily embracing her hallucinations as proof of her delicate nervous condition, provides perfect ironic closure. While Granny's efforts may not have produced the intended medical results, they succeed magnificently as comedy. More importantly, they reinforce the Clampetts' role as agents of chaos who nevertheless bring unexpected joy and vitality to their sterile, overly refined surroundings. This episode thread also advances larger character arcs. We see Ellie Mae's growing confidence as she assists Granny Jethro's enthusiastic participation in the family mission and Jed's quiet support for his mother-in-law's endeavors. The family operates as a cohesive unit, each member contributing their unique talents to the cause. This ensemble dynamic would become one of the show's greatest strengths across its long run. In the broader landscape of 1960s American television, Granny's medicinal adventures represent something refreshingly bold. At a time when rural characters were often portrayed as backward or objects of ridicule, the Beverly Hillbillies celebrated folk knowledge and traditional ways. Granny's remedies may seem bizarre to modern viewers, but within the context of the show they represent cultural heritage and self-reliance values worthy of respect rather than mockery. The sober-up MASH storyline perfectly exemplifies Paul Henning's gift for creating comedy that works on multiple levels. On the surface, we have hilarious visual gags involving goats in bathtubs and chickens riding livestock. Beneath that lies sharp satire about class differences, the medicalization of normal emotions, and the emptiness of wealth without human connection. Yet, the show never becomes mean-spirited. Even as it pokes fun at Beverly Hills pretensions, it maintains deep affection for all its characters, including the neurotic Drysdales. By the time this sequence concludes, the audience has been treated to a masterclass in situational comedy. The escalating attempts to deliver the MASH, the increasingly outlandish hallucinations experienced by Mrs. Drysdale, and the Clampetts' persistent goodwill create a comedic momentum that is nearly impossible to resist. We laugh at the absurdity while simultaneously admiring the family's fundamental decency. Granny Clampett's sober-up MASH stands as one of the iconic comedic set pieces that helped define the Beverly Hillbillies as a cultural phenomenon. It showcases everything that made the series special: unforgettable characters, brilliant wordplay, inspired physical comedy, and a warm-hearted perspective that found humor in cultural differences while celebrating shared humanity. In Granny's determined efforts to heal her neighbor with mountain medicine, we see not just comedy, but a beautiful expression of the show's central message that kindness, resourcefulness, and authenticity will always find a way to thrive, even in the most unlikely environments. As the MASH settles and the goat's milk flows or attempts to flow, the stage is set for even greater adventures. The Clampetts have only begun to make their mark on Beverly Hills, and Beverly Hills has only begun to feel the transformative power of hillbilly hospitality and folk wisdom. The laughter continues, the cultural contrasts deepen, and our affection for this remarkable family grows with every passing scene.